Hey guys, so this video is all about 3 immediate red flags when it comes to auction. So we had a client recently send us this 2012 Toyota Camry base model. Of course, people love their Toyotas. Looking at this, we wanted to know if it's very good. However, of course, looking at this Toyota Camry, it's not bad. Did a little bit of work on the quarter panel, rear end bumper, trunk, tail lamp, bit of work on the tail the tailgate here. Not too much, it doesn't have to be replaced. The bumper, possibly depending on the body guide that you do have, might could actually fix this. But other than that, replacement. Tail lamp needs to be replaced. Check engine light, need some gas. Overall, the vehicle is definitely a very good vehicle. However, of course, we look at these vehicles, we try to go on Bait Caribbean and check out what's going on there for some special information. Zero sales history, that's always good. It is insurance, that's good. However, red flag here, noticing that it is a 2012, we have approval needed. Huge red flag, guys, especially if you don't know, right? When you're looking at your calculations, customs, the platform actually tells you if you need approval. This is a 2012, and I know people with past this, especially when they see pricing looks good, you don't check prices. And once you scroll here, you're going to see approval needed, which is ministry finance approval needed. It passes the 10-year mark. So yes, that is needed. And generally when it is needed compared to final price, customs will charge 20% on the final landed cost. So that's vehicle purchase price. And then that's also on top of the fees that they're going to charge you as well with the boat. A huge red flag, unless, of course, you have that approval prior to, then we do not recommend. Second red flag, we had another client here. So we have a 2018 Honda Accord XL. So at this vehicle, one thing that we look at firsthand, the pictures. As you can look a little bit closer, this vehicle has definitely been in a flood. What we're looking at, you could see the flood line here, which is very high, and there's some vehicle flood lines that are very low. However, this has went into the vehicle. As you can see, flood line here. So you can reference this one is way higher than the other one, but then at the same time, it basically was higher than that at that point. Front end side, yeah, definitely. This is huge. This is a huge red flag. Also on the platform itself, doesn't recommend water flood. It notifies as well. Therefore, you guys, I in the base of the information, some people surpass it. However, it does notify if there's a red water flood there as well, which is huge red flag. Some people may say, oh, yes, it was fresh water. What really is the red flag if it's run and drive? Most times, if you look at vehicles, the transmission sometimes is the problem where water actually seeped in, eroding the transmission within, and it may work here and there, and then you start to get some slips. And this generally is the cause of that, not mentioning electrical problems being a huge issue. And another red flag here is, of course, it starts, meaning that it starts, but it's stationary, right? In this case, that only tells me that, well, actually, it is stationary, and you have 0 miles. So it's not starting. You have a water line. Huge red flag. Yes, the body looks very good. That's one thing, but changing the engine, changing electrical, it would be in best interest to just get another vehicle, unless you stating that you have one of these and you have the engine, you have everything, the body is just not good. Then this is something you would consider in that case. But Other than that, you're looking for something ready to drive, huge red flag. So you have a 2019 Cherokee Latitude Plus. Looking at these pictures here, so we have mechanical. Also mentioned, we have history report, which also states that do you see the mechanical, which looking at the pictures doesn't look bad. You do see the check engine light. However, when it comes to mechanical with these vehicles, you never know what's really going on. Meaning, it could be a transmission, engine can be knocking. These are the things that you definitely want to look at. Of course, you also do have a video. Let's see what that entails. Sounds like a typical Jeep. However, there is like extra click to it if you're really listening in. However, the engine is started, the battery is out. These vehicles, they usually move three feet forward, 3 feet back, and that's basically about it. However, you have a strong feeling that this is indeed possibly transmission. Not to mention, going back to Bid Caribbean here, another red flag is it having more than 2 times running at the auction, meaning that somebody definitely went to check this thing and there might actually be a problem with it. So as you could see, it was bidded on for 2,000, which was the final on approval, was not sold, and then it went 5,500, still was not sold, approval 1,650. So people are really not wanting to put much into this. However, the seller is trying to sell this thing for 5,200. This is also very good information to know if you are purchasing a vehicle remotely, meaning that you could reference this and say, hey, look, somebody has went to this vehicle and know, like, look, they're not trying to spend over 2,016.50 on this vehicle due to the fact that they possibly found something going on and it's not worth it. Also to note, it is non-insurance, meaning that it's possibly from a dealer and possibly staged just to sell compared to in the general public. So huge red flag, would not recommend. These platforms, we set it up for it to make it easy to navigate, you avoid making mistakes and end up losing money. It could easily be that you're looking at this 5,200, 2019, it's a good deal, certificate of title. However, it turns into a huge headache, whereas you're spending $2,000 to $3,000 on a transmission for this vehicle, or better yet, an engine, which would be equally equating to the 5,200 that you're paying, not inclusive of customs or anything of that sort, or even having it stuck at the port because the guys can't start it up and they have to pull it, creating more problems for you. So this is something that we try to mitigate. These three, these are definitely top 3 red flags you want to look out for. Of course, there's more when it comes to auction, but we made this platform therefore easy to use, easy to understand, and help you mitigate risk as best as possible. And also, you're always welcome for a live chat if you need help. Live chat is always available on the platform.